what's going to happen to you now? What are you going to do with yourself?
I don't know yet. All I know is that I must live where Elert Loveworth's living if I have to live at all.
Tell me, Thea, how did this come about, this familiarity between you and Elert Loveworth?
It just happened. Bit by bit, I've got sort of a control over him.
Really?
He left off his old ways. Not because I asked him to. I never dared to do that, but he knew all right that I didn't like that sort of thing, and he just gave it up.
And so you've reclaimed the prodigal, as they say, little Thea.
As he says anyway. And he, for his part, has made me the sort of a real person. He's taught me to think and understand quite a lot of things.
Did he give you lessons too, then?
No, not lessons, but he talked. Talked of so fantastically many things. And then came that beautiful, happy time when we shared in his work. I was allowed to help him.
He let you help him?
Yes! Anytime he ever wrote anything, we always had to do it together.
Like two good companions, then.
Yes, companions, that's what he used to say. I should be quite happy, but I can't be.
Are you still so uncertain of him, then?
There's the shadow of a woman that stands between us.
Who might that be?
I don't know. Someone. Someone from his past, someone can't quite forget.
Oh, what has he told you about this?
That when they parted ways, she threatened to shoot him with a pistol.
Rubbish! People do not have such things here!
I know, and that's why I think it must be that red-haired singer whom he once...
Oh, yes, I suppose that's possible.
Because I remember someone telling me that she carried around a loaded pistol.
Oh, well, then it must be her, then.
Yes, but how to imagine, I hear that woman, she is in town again. I'm quite distracted. I don't...
Shh. Oh, Tesman's coming. Thea, this all must be between just you and me.
Yes. Yes, for God's sake. Thank you.
All right, tell me what's going on here.
I had family, and I left my family to be with Elert Loveworth.
And I'm the other woman.
But I don't know that. She is the woman with the pistol.
And then what's your relationship?
We're
We're
old
school friends.
But we aren't close
close
now. But we were close when we were younger kids, and we've just recently reunited.
And why are you together?
She's come to my house to tell me. She doesn't have anyone else to tell.
Because I've left all my family and friends of my old life behind me.
And she knew I was in town or lived here. And this is also where Elert Loveworth is now.
And then tell me your story. What's going on inside of this character? This person.
Well, she wasn't fulfilled by her husband and her family and her kids, and there was just something about Elert, and even though she knew he was flighty and it wasn't the most secure thing, he awoke things in her that she didn't know existed, and therefore she, made the leap to leave everything behind and risk it for even just a little while of happiness.
And what is at stake right now for you?
Whole life. The day he decides he doesn't want to share all these things with me, that's it. I've got nothing. I
And
can't.
is there anything hinging on this conversation at all, or what is going on here?
Well, I kind of want her insight with this woman, because she lives here. I kind of am wondering if she does know anything about this woman who's in town, that, threatened to shoot him with a pistol, and I can kind of sense this change in him that he's thinking about her, and so I've just kind of been seeking her out for help.
It's kind of exciting because,
I
I've
haven't been able to
left
tell
everything
anyone.
to go see this guy, and she's just I have to tell someone.
Okay.
And I think she feels like it'd be safe to tell me because you know, we knew each other back then, and I can't have anything to do with this.
Does the audience already know that you're having an affair with this other person?
I don't, they do?
Yes. Don't they?
I don't know that they do. Doesn't Hedda Gobler, someone help me refresh my memory, do they know yet?
I think it's nearer to the end, isn't it?
I don't
You
think
find
that
out
they
that-
know.
No,
I
I
don't
know.
think-
It's implied,
No one knows.
but-
No one knows. I think it's,
Is it-
no one
They
knows
can't
that
know.
yeah, they don't know.
Well, the
Only,
audience would.
Because I'm married to this guy that's gonna come in to the door,
Yeah,
but I kind of married him because, I needed to marry someone.
yeah.
And
But
get on
you're
my
in a
father's
relationship
list.
with this other person or not?
No, we used to have feelings for each other, and I've always liked him, and I didn't know he was in town, and I didn't know
clear
about
that they-
this.
So what's going on with you?
Inner turmoil, like, I always wanted to be with him, but he never let me in. And all of a sudden this girl that I went to school with, that was 2 years younger than me, he's opening up, you know, to her, letting, like, her change him, and he never did that for me. But the fact that when I find out that I still matter, I think that's just like oh my God, he remembers me, you know?
Okay, that happens towards the end of the scene. right?
When she talks about shooting, because when we parted, Eler and me, I threatened to shoot him with a pistol.
Okay.
So I know that it's me that she's talking about.
Okay.
But she doesn't know, obviously.
Okay. Let me say it again, and I'm gonna interrupt this.
Okay. So, what's going to happen to you now? What are you going to do with yourself?
I don't know yet. All I know is that I must live with Elert Lovberg if I have to live at all.
Tell me, Thea, how did this come about, this familiarity between you and Elert Loveborg?
Happened.
Okay, do it again from the beginning. I'm trying to understand this moment.
The very first moment, she's just told me that she's leaving her family to come here. What's gonna happen to you now? What are you gonna do with yourself?
I don't know yet. All I know is that I must live where Elert Loveberg is living if I have to live at all.
Tell me, Thea, how did this come about, this familiarity between you and Elert Loveborg?
It just happened, bit by bit.
Okay, stop. Are these lines kind of hard? Are they hard to spit out for some reason?
They're just awkward. They
Yeah,
aren't
because
contemporary.
Because we're contemporizing it to like make it just like me and her in my house, instead of it being like back in the 1800s.
Okay, so are you in an advisory role right now?
I feel like, yeah, she's come to me, she wants to talk to me about her problems, and I'm kind of being like,
And when we were friends in the past, she was older. And so I kind of aspire to this, big sister sort of relationship.
Okay. Because what I'm wondering about, and I guess I want to remind both of you that this isn't about how to live your lives, this is about creating experiences between the two of you and between us, right? So I want you to try something a little different, and that is, I want you to stay advisory, almost like you're a therapist
okay,
at the beginning.
okay,
And that you're there actually, when somebody comes to our home, we tend to be there for the person who's coming to us. Even if we don't know that, we tend to rise to the occasion. And there's nothing, it's more of a position of strength. It's in your house, she's coming to you. So more strength, more advisory, more like this is a person that is almost below you in some ways, and you're attending to her.
okay,
Because later on that changes. That's why I'm
okay, all right,
You're there for her, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, you're talking about me. Something's going on. I don't know if that gets expressed, but that's what the lines do.
Okay.
Later on. So be there for her. Let me see what happens with that first. Can you access that?
can totally do that.
Okay.
So, what is going to happen to you now? What are you going to do with yourself?
I don't know yet. I know is that I must live where Elert Lovberg's living if I have to live at all.
Well, tell me, Thea, how did this come about, this familiarity between you and Elert Lovborg?
It just happened. Bit by bit, I've got sort of a control over him.
Really?
He left off his old ways, not because I asked him to. I never dared to do that, but he knew all right that I didn't like that sort of thing, and he gave it up.
And so you've reclaimed the prodigal, as they say, little Thea.
Okay, so what's that?
It makes it, it's harder because there's so much inner turmoil, like me wanting to support her, but at the same time being like, oh, you bitch, like, you get to do everything with him that I never got to.
Okay.
So it's a lot harder, like, I mean, it's good because, but I feel like I don't know, well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I felt like when we were rehearsing that it was important for me to show that I knew who he was, and then not to do just this counseling session between us.
Yeah, I'm not taking that away, by the way. I want us
no.
to try that. And then, there's sort of an arrogance that you don't realize is going on when you say, I have this control over him. So there's a feeling that I'm wondering about. I would love to be cringing right now. I would love to be feeling like, ooh, don't say that, that's too much. So I wonder, is there a way for you to reveal this with, to tone down the glee and tone up the tone of, like, bragging in a way that you wouldn't normally brag in front of anybody else?
Okay. Less gleeful and just more factual? Is-
I don't know. I'm thinking
Okay.
more about making her really uncomfortable with how you're.
Maybe because I always got everything you did in school, and you're kind of like wearing this over me because you know that
Oh, so
there's nothing I
knowing-
can get hurt from,
Okay,
you know?
sure. Let's do that.
Let's try it.
Sure.
Let's try it. And let me know if everybody could calibrate sphincters, just to tell us if there's any kind of a squirming effect.
All right.
Go ahead.
Sphincter in position.
And so, what is going to happen to you now? What are you going to do with yourself?
I don't know yet. All I know is that I must live where Elert Lovberg's living if I have to live at all.
Tell me, Thea, how did this come about? This familiarity between you and Elert Lovborg?
It just happened. Bit by bit. I've got sort of a control over him.
Really?
He left off his old ways. Not because I asked him to, I never dared to do that, but he knew all right that I didn't like that sort of thing, and then he gave it up.
And so you reclaimed the prodigal, as they say, little Thea?
As he says, anyway. And he, for his part, made me into sort of a real person, taught me to think and understand quite a lot of things.
Did he give you lessons too then?
No, not lessons. But he talked of so fantastically many things. And then came that beautiful, happy time when I was allowed to share in his work. I was allowed to help him.
He lets you help him.
Yes. Whenever he wrote anything, we always had to do it together.
Like two good companions then.
Yes! Companions. That's what he said anyway. I should be so wonderfully happy. But I can't be quite, for I am not sure how long it will last.
Okay, stop for a second. There was a moment in there I wanted you to think a little bit about. By the way, I am squirming.
This is gonna make me really.
And you have more to work with, don't you?
Yeah, it's so much more work.
Okay, so the revealing is happening on its own now. You're not doing the
I'm not
revealing.
having to do anything.
It's all just occurring.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that.
Okay, good.
Just the only part I was thinking about, because I was just sitting there enjoying it, and I realized, oh, I was supposed to interrupt and say something. Is the part where you say yes. What do you want to do with that? You say yes. Really loud. Is that
Because it's
how
a
you want?
victory for me.
So can we do it?
And I'm
in
glad
a-
she said it,
Can
you
we
know?
do it in a more painful way?
Okay. I guess I'm trying to understand why I'm trying.
You're not. You are just feeling victory. You are
Okay.
feeling secure in this relationship, and it's like all of us can do that occasionally. We can be arrogant and pompous and say things like, that was an awesome performance. I would never say that. I would never say that. But I was awesome. Okay? And that's kind of that moment that
Okay.
we're having. And it's not a moment we would have with anybody else.
Okay. Understood, thank you.
And then she's going to say, what was this right before yes? You say,
Like two good companions then?
like two good companions. And you say,
Yes.
experiment with that.
Okay.
All right, go a couple back from there.
We have 3 more minutes.
All right, let's take the whole, from the top, I want to see the whole thing with just the adjustment that we've made.
Okay.
Okay. So, what is going to happen to you now? What are you going to do with yourself?
I don't know yet. All I know is that I must live where Elert Loveborg's living if I have to live at all.
Tell me, Thea, how did this come about, this familiarity between you and Elert Loveborg?
Oh, it just happened. Bit by bit, I've got sort of a control over him.
Really?
He left off his old ways. Not because I asked him to, I never dared to do that, but he knew all right that I didn't like that sort of thing, and then he gave it up.
And so you reclaim the prodigal, as they say, little Thea.
As he says anyway. And he, for his part, made me into sort of a real person. Taught me how to think and understand quite a lot of things.
Did he give you lessons too then?
No, not lessons. But he talked. Talked of so fantastically many things, and then came that beautiful, happy time when we shared in his work. I was allowed to help him.
He let you help him.
Yes. Whenever he wrote anything, we always had to do it together.
Like two good companions then.
Yes, companions. That's what he used to say. I ought to be so wonderfully happy. But it can't be quite. For I'm not sure how long it will last.
Are you still so uncertain of him then?
There's the shadow of a woman that stands between us.
Who might that be?
I don't know. Someone. Someone from his past, someone he can't quite forget.
What has he told you about it?
That when they parted ways, she threatened to shoot him with a pistol.
That is such rubbish. We don't even have things here.
I know, and that's why I think it must be that red-haired singer who he...
Oh, I'm sure that's possible.
Because I can remember someone telling me that she carried around a loaded pistol.
Oh, well, then it must be her then.
I hear that that woman is in town again. I'm quite distracted. I'm not sure.
Shh. Tessman's coming. Thea? This must just be all between you and me.
Yes. Yes, for God's sake, yes.
I think there is some comments on the, yes.
I feel like I lost a little bit in the beginning of what, I guess, what you wanted. It just seemed like, almost like you knew that she was with Elert, or whatever his name is. Like you were trying to get it out of her. I don't know, I might just be crazy, but it just, it just seemed a little bit like you were trying to sabotage her into confessing. And then it got to the part where you think it was the redhead singer, and I don't know.
It was cloud.
Yeah.
There
it was
could
just-
be knowledge beforehand that she knows about the red-haired singer, but she doesn't want to get to that part yet.
Right.
But it makes her just a little bit, maybe more joy or something about him being.
Yeah, I lost all the joy from you being in that relationship. Like, you still made me squirm and stuff, but there was.
I think it could have something to do too, like, you know that she knows who Loveboard is, so like he's got this
No, she doesn't.
You don't know that you know him at all?
No.
I don't think, I think
maybe
you know
we
his
did go to school
reputation.
together. But
Yeah.
I think you know his reputation. You don't know that.
I don't know how
you guys
close
love
they
Flame.
are. Right.
Right, but like he probably has a reputation for being that guy who, oh my gosh, no one can touch me, blah blah blah. I sleep around that, and you're like, oh my gosh, look at this. This is what happened. Like bragging about it, like because I am so awesome. I have a hold on him. So it's less of a trying to get under her skin and more of a, oh my gosh, can you
Yeah.
believe that I just did this?
Okay.
Am I not awesome? You know that type of thing.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a part that really lends to that idea of is the companion line. I feel like maybe he's told you the same thing before. The companion, you know, like
That's
the
good.
idea
And
of
I love that. I
Yeah.
thought you handled that. That just came out of you too. Let me just say this. I agree with the a little more glee and a little more like joy in there again. You took it all out, and I was hoping it would come back a little bit, but it was still something was very different. I want you to view the video, the before and after of the video, because I think you'll see that there was more going on between you by fleshing it out in the way that we did. And what we're trying to do is, Dave and I and Kelly are trying to write about this. We're trying to understand how the feedback is translating into these changes, and understanding how concepts that are not theater concepts, if I give them to you in some ways of thinking, are actually translating into something organic like this did. Because it changed I mostly gave you the feedback of change, but you changed the most in my opinion.
I felt the change.
And it was like you were, of course you changed too, but it was like this was the organic change. Your changes caused these changes.
Different experience.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, which is really compelling to have a Hedda actually be affected by everything instead of trying to control everything.
Right.
Just all these subconscious sort of like visualizations, how you started, you like closed your
Yeah,
collar, like you
yeah.
were protecting.
Your chest was actually red.
Yeah, it was so interesting. Like you were blushing. It was
But
like,
I think that all we want is a little more of the initial joy that was coming out of you, but not as high as it was. It's more like let it leak out of you. Like this.
Okay.
And that will make her even more probably uncomfortable. Did you feel it too when her changes were occurring? Did you feel the arms, the crossing, this, or
Yeah.
were you kind of not?
No, I could. I think it's gonna help to keep visiting it because in the moment I was still like trying to.
Process.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
seeing clips
Okay.
more.
We gotta go.
Good, very good.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks.